Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Uh, why does there seem to be so many skunks lurking about right now?
Well, this is a time of year when animal populations are at its highest point. The babies have been born, the babies are fully mobile. They know that fall is coming and so is winter, so they're out foraging for food. It's a very, very active time, not only for skunks, but all urban wildlife.
And how unusual is it to see them during the day right now? Because I and a number of people in the newsroom have noticed that there they are, right? You think it's a cat, but like the Pepe Le Pew cartoons, it's not a cat.
Exactly. They're active during the day this time of year. A lot of reasons is because, the young are getting maybe a little rambunctious, kind of like teenagers. So the mother skunks or mother raccoons might say, you know what, I need a break. And they'll just go out for a little afternoon stroll. But, they are nocturnal, meaning they sleep all daytime. But there are those occasions when they do get active and start getting curious and, walking around backyards and neighborhoods and that type of thing.
And why do they seem to love suburban neighborhoods so much?
Well, we make it easy for them, whether it be skunks, raccoons, squirrels, bats. We give them den sites, meaning skunks will live underneath porches or decks or front steps. Anything without a foundation is susceptible for a skunk to live underneath there. So, their primed areas are urban centers because we give them our den sites, but we also give them food sources. Skunks are kind of like raccoons. They'll eat everything and anything. So, whether it be getting into garbage or grubs that are in our lawns, so they'll eat everything and anything. That's just why all these animals are flourishing, not just in London, but all of our franchise locations across Canada and the U.S.
Say you see one in your neighborhood, right? You notice it in your neighbor's garden. You might notice those little funnel-shaped holes appearing in your lawn. How do you know where a skunk is living? Because I think finding the den for most people is probably the greatest sense of unease. Is it living in my yard? Are there ways to tell?
Yeah, just like, whether, proper maintenance and inspection of your property on a regular basis. For skunks, whether you have a shed in the back corner of your backyard or your back deck or front step, skunks dig. So typically you'll see an opening about the size of a football. It could indicate, probably a skunk, could be a raccoon. But yeah, these animals are just, we have lots of den sites for them. That's why the numbers keep going up and up every single year, especially in London.
People don't like skunks, right? They have a bad rap because everybody's worried about, well, having a pet sprayed, first of all, or worse yet, getting sprayed yourself. There seems to be a real fear in people's eyes when it comes to these animals. What's the best way to avoid that happening?
The best way to avoid coming in contact with a skunk is, first off, make certain it's not living on your property. If it's living underneath your deck or shed, humanely remove it and then animal-proof that structure. But more importantly, skunks have terrible eyesight. So usually when dogs or people get sprayed by skunks, they startle the skunk. If you see a skunk in your backyard, very quietly retreat. Don't try and startle it. And when you startle it, that's when that animal's defense mechanism, which is that foul-smelling spray, is when it gets active.
Almost sounds like a bear. Make noise, let it know you're there. Bill, have you ever been sprayed?
Have I ever been sprayed? I've been lucky, And when we, our company, we're probably visiting over 200 homes a day across Canada and the U.S. Very rarely do we get sprayed because, when an animal is underneath the structure, we're working to get it out cautiously and not threatening it. So, you have to be careful, but, there are those cases. We have had a few of our staff where, maybe a baby skunk or a young skunk falls into a window well. And, we have to reach down and physically pick that animal up and get it out of that window well because they can't climb. They're stuck in there. So we have to do those type of rescues, which sometimes those can be a little tricky for our franchise owners or our staff as well.
So in your years of doing your job, what's the best way to get rid of the smell?
Well, there's all kinds of remedies and potions and contraptions you can get from online, whether it be tomato juice. I've heard toothpaste, mixing that in. So just need to Google ways to get rid of the skunk smell. But there is also some commercial products that we have that we can spray to help alleviate that foul odor.
All right, but there's not like a magic bomb. You haven't found one that's like bulletproof, have you?
No, I wish we have. We get calls where people, they go to work. A skunk may have sprayed underneath their back deck, and the odor comes into the home. They go to work and they get sent home because the odor is so bad. So, there is, opening doors and windows, exchanging of air, getting some fans blowing, that type of thing, just to get some fresh air and movement of air. Sometimes a great remedy as well.
Bill, thanks for your time.
Okay, appreciate it.
That's Bill Dowd. He's the CEO and founder of Skedaddle Humane Wildlife Control. And we reached him this evening in Hamilton.